Okay guys, there's a lot of ground to cover for us today. So first of all, I love your participation and collaboration, and we had some comments which were pretty fitting for today's episode, so I thought I'm gonna read them out. I'm not gonna read that name out loudly, but they mentioned it would have been great if you could have listened to the next song, Shriek of the Vengeance, directly, because it feels like a continuation of the melodic style that this song has ended with. So referring to the first song we heard, and that's something I noticed as well, so we're gonna do that. Furthermore, they've mentioned that the first 3 albums are supposed to form a trilogy, which someone I think has mentioned before. I'm gonna show their name here as well, just in case I can find the comment. And then we have another commenter. You have very interesting names. I'm sorry, I'm not very proficient in all those languages, so I'm not gonna read that out loud either. They said this was their favorite album from Galneryus, which I think is pretty understandable. I know some songs from this album, which we're gonna talk about later. Although there are no grand works like Angel of Salvation, I mean, it's a bit difficult to do that, but each of these songs is just right. Some songs have very distinctive atmosphere, which is not inferior even among ALL Galneryus albums. It is an album worth savoring repeatedly. I just have to say, I like the Angel of Salvation album actually aesthetically. It has some bangers in it. Of course, it has Angel of Salvation in it and other songs I really like. But I think in general, if I remember correctly, it's actually, in my opinion, one of their weaker albums. Like, the albums around it just are so freaking strong. It felt a bit like they put most of their energy in like Angel of Salvation and maybe some other songs like Hunting for Your Dream, which wasn't made for an anime, Hunter x Hunter actually. That's what it seemed like. And the mixing was handled by a team from Sweden, which is also interesting trivia, I suppose. I didn't know that, so guys, keep it coming if you have any background information. That's all I'm here for. Then we have something that seems to be readable, Shu Kito. I'm not sure about that, but sorry. When you start a new album, can you talk briefly about if you have heard any of the songs potentially, if you recognize a song mid-album, or if you're familiar with the album? So, first of all, just to give a brief overview, I have listened to Galneryus like for almost 10 years now, which is not very long because they've existed for, I think they're approaching like 30 years or something. I'm someone who, if they hear something they like, you know, I'm starting off with listening to the whole album. If I like the whole album and like listen to the band for quite a while, I usually start to listen to their entire discography. Basically what we're doing here. But I'm usually trying to filter out in a like really rushed way which songs are not so relevant for me. It basically turned out that for every album I liked about a few songs. I mean, pretty much all of their stuff is pretty great. That's why I'm enjoying those reactions so much. I would say most of the songs I have listened to at least once, but I can't really remember because I just rushed through them. So we can consider them new. For this album, I can remember there's some real bangers in my opinion. For example, Shriek of the Vengeance, which is the current song. Also one of my all-time favorites, like seriously, is Braving Flag. I think it's one of the later songs of the album. Then of course we have Point of No Return. It seems to be somewhat popular actually, which was also the first song I actually tried to play on guitar, because you know there's a lot of gallops in there and it seemed rather easy, but you know the gallops were fine, right? Even the sweeps were fine, but the solo was a bit too fast for my taste. Yeah, I think, yeah, I know some other songs like Heavy Curse, In the Cage Says Something to Me, My Last Farewell. I think that's basically it, but I don't know them so well. I can only recall very little of those. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you have any further questions about like my stuff or what I should mention or talk about, and if you have more trivia, that's always very cool if we could like collect all of that stuff here on this channel. And I think now we should start with the song, right? Okay, I hope this works. This is supposed to be a playlist, and we're just gonna start with the ending part. I'm really interested. It might have some loading delay, but still, I hope it's good enough. Yeah, let's start from the melody part. so moody, dude. Oh, 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 oh. Yes! Oh, it's so hard to stop for me. Okay, I think what I found really cool actually was that the kind of the first note of the song was the missing last note of the preceding song, right? That was pretty badass actually. I like that a lot. Also, how the sound continues. The guitar playing together with the keyboard. I don't know what the keyboard sound here is. And of course, this absolutely badass melody, like that's a really cool and catchy melody here. I think it's just strings actually. It's just strings playing together with the guitar, but it has like a deep pull. It like pulls you into this narrative. I also like the slow double pedals. Okay, there's the repetition of the melody. That's such a badass entry for Yamabe. Like, straight up, they're totally playing to Yamabe's strengths here. Those two call and answer things he does in the beginning, very powerful. It's operatic, right? It has this operatic feel also in its melody. It's supposed to stand out, to gain your attention, and then it continues with the melody, which is also damn cool. It's a cool continuation of the main melody of the song in some way. It's very similar, but it's put into a verse format in some way. I like the tension they built here. And now here you get the resolution, right? Dude, that voice, man. Do you hear that? Dude, this song is so freaking tight. Like, I totally forgot. The way it led into the chorus with this rising kind of thing, it has this, like, power. I don't know, there's just so much cool stuff going on. And just to go back to the verse for a second, I like how they work with the tension here. We have the tension in the beginning with those call and answer, and we have a bit of, okay, the melody is continuing now. It resolves a bit, but we're ending up with tension again. It's this, whew, not really sounding like conflict, it's rather sounding mysterious. I would say we're delving into some kind of old forgotten legend, and that's like a very cool aesthetic they're working here. Tension. Here it gets chill and catchy. Oh, and directly into this. And the tremolos are so freaking cool in the background. That's so cool with the strings, with those. It gives it such a cool mood, and like just the range in which they're playing this. He can use so much of his chest in there. That's so cool, man. Getting a bit of a tornado here. That was such a smooth transition also into the singing part again. It was like so freaking seamless. It was almost a continuation of the guitar melody. Okay, wait a second. We had this like tornado. I don't know if we had this tangent-filled instrumental in the background. We have some kind of string layer or something. I don't know if it's just the harmony they're playing there, or if it's actually the sound of the synth, but it has this constant tension to it. I don't know if did we have this here as well? Yeah, but it didn't feel as intense if we look at here. Also, I really dig a lot of things, but I think we can talk about that when on the go. First of all, I like that they just went straight into the solo section from the first chorus. That's just always exciting. Sometimes they do that, not always, but sometimes, and it makes those occasions stand out a lot, I think. I mean, here we could have a bit of battle, actually. It has this like tornado, chaotic feel. It's going from side to side and stuff. And also the bluesiness has a really tasteful way that they actually utilize it. I think It's the first time they do this. I can't remember an occasion where they did this in the first 2 albums, to actually just create chaos. It works really well. Stops. The stops are so damn cool. He's using the notes and the melody, and it has pretty much the sound of the main melody of the thing. Like, it resembles it a lot, but it plays around with it, and it whirls it around basically. But then we move in this cool neoclassical part where it sounds a bit more structured, but has this, it's just this basic neoclassical progression, but it sounds also, like, production wise, very romantic. I don't know, that's the word I've used before, but I think it characterizes the sound so far pretty well. It has this romantic element which we hadn't had that often in the songs before, to be honest. Not in this particular way, at least. I like how he plays around with it. Like, he just throws it around in circles for a bit, and then he moves on to a journey. I know they're kind of breaking a bit. Musically, you heard that really well. They slowed down, and it was almost like a vehicle. I don't even know how to say that in English, like using the brakes and getting slower. And then we have this almost like halftime section here. It flowed really well. The drum fill. It's just so much power in there. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just this last instrumental part with those trumpets or something, it just sounded so freaking epic. Such a cool closure for the song. And then after that, it's also just such a slick and fast way to end it, right? You don't have an extra outro, you don't have extra flexes or something. You just end it in a cool, fast way. Bam. Because everything is said. That song has said everything in such a short time. It's so compact. It has such nice transitions. I don't know what your opinion on this is. I missed the song quite a lot. I can't even. There was just a part with the drum where the drums went. Absolutely badass, dude. I think it's like the strings or something, but just the way it's mixed, it sounds so full and like, you know. Oh, and it's also a half step up, I think. Just the epicness those trumpets add to this. Although we already have this more epic version of the chorus, like it maybe works way better than it should. And I think merely through those trumpets, I always have a very medieval feeling to this. In this album specifically, it has a very medieval touch to me, and it's very cool. I could listen to this all day, like just this section. Also the whole song, of course, but it's really good. Okay, enough fanboying for today. I think we have to spare a few glorifications for the upcoming songs. I don't know if it was noticeable, but I've listened to this so much that I know some of the lyrics at this point, but I didn't understand everything. Now the time has come, see the sign. Oh, it's the call and answer thing, right? It's this, now the time has come, see the sign. The sword is by my side. Take the flag again. Yeah, we have this new start of the journey. I mean, it's starting off with now the time has come. That's pretty badass. Take the flag again. It's not in here, but we have these cover albums where they've covered a lot of all-time classic songs with Shriek's vocals. And you have those, I don't know how they're called, something with flag. We have this like knight on a horse with the flag in his hand. That's pretty much what I'm imagining here. My soul is burning hard, you know that I cannot take anymore. There is no way to hide, I'll bring salvation. Okay, so we have like a fully fledged knight here. We had this fragile, struggling self in the first two albums, but we have this like fully fledged knight here apparently, with the banner and the sword, and he's ready and his soul is burning hard. I think that's also new. Like before it was the heart. The heart is something more, I wouldn't say physical because it's also a metaphor, of course, but the heart is something more tied to the person and the ego, and the soul is like something more deeply energetically ingrained. So if actually the soul is even burning, it means it is your true being burning at this point, which is also pretty badass. You know that I cannot take anymore. There is no way to hide. I'll bring salvation. It will happen. I will bring salvation. That's also very optimistic, but the song sounds very heroic, so it kind of makes sense. Cry for the morning light. The freedom calls for you. We are the warriors bringing the war and pain. It's another call and answer thing. Yeah, they're talking about themselves as warriors. It's like very self-confident. It's still a struggle for freedom. We might even have the same foe as before. I don't know. Yeah, cry for the morning light is something we also have seen very often in the past. And then we have this continued thing before the chorus, which was this like epic build-up. My soul is burning hard, you know that I cannot take anymore. There is no way to hide. I'll bring salvation, glory and honor. We only take it all. At this point, it almost gets a bit cheesy. Glory and honor. Probably essentials to bring up in this kind of context with this kind of sound. And the chorus. We know that is risky way approaching the sea of rage. We can overcome the pain. It is just a matter of time. Flying through the holy sky, approaching the sea of rage. We can see the land of freedom. It's just a matter of time. So it's just a bit funny to me how freaking epic that is. Approaching the sea of rage. Like you have this very visceral image. We can overcome the pain. It is just a matter of time. There is pain, but dude, it doesn't matter. We know how shit works. It's not that bad, basically. Flying through the holy sky. Dude, this combination of we are these heavy warriors flying through the holy sky on our, like, I don't freaking know, Pegasus or something. It's a really cool image. We can see the land of freedom. It's just a matter of time. And then we have this post-chorus thing. We rule the world. The war cry will shake the ground. Shriek of the vengeance. Also, the tables have turned here a bit because in the very beginning, if I remember correctly, the world was ruled by this like dictator, tyrant guy, you know, that seemed to be the antagonist. And now we are ruling the world. It might just be like confidence, you know, we are so powerful that we're able to stomp everyone and potentially rule the world, but still, we have a progression here, and you have this very clear sense of narrative again. During Advance to the Fall, I lost a bit track of the narrative. It wasn't very easy to see, okay, this is the protagonist, they're doing that and whatever, and they're fighting this guy, and you know, it was a bit hard to see, but in this case, it's, at least in the beginning, it's very clear to see what's happening here. Then we have this pre-chorus thing again, and that's pretty much it. Like, there's not much more to it. It just dropped a few epic bars, and then it went. But yeah, that was Shriek of the Vengeance. I hope you enjoyed it so far. Until next time.